Thank you, Madam Speaker. Magandang hapon, ay magandang umaga po or tanghali na pala. Madam Sponsor, my first question is with regards to the status of contract of service and job contract since DBCC naman ito dun sa special provision. Madam Sponsor, yung regarding din sa inquiry ko before on solo parents because on our law, sabi, they are entitled. Kahit job contract sila, job order or contract of service sila, they are entitled to the 7-day leave. So, I think this is an opportunity. Pwede bang isama natin sa special provision para i-clarify sa lahat ng agencies that they are qualified for the parental leave of 7 days. Madam Speaker, umaandar po yung oras.
Madam Speaker, we are checking the joint circular.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, there's a joint circular and there's a joint circular number 1, series of 2017, issued June 15, 2017. And I will read to you one provision which could be a problem. And I'll read to you the provision verbatim. The services of the contract of service and job order workers are not covered by civil service law and rules, thus not creditable as government service. They do not enjoy the benefits enjoyed by government employees such as leave, pera, rata, and 13th month pay. So that is what the DBM has told me, but if it is specific in the solo parents law, I will support you, Madam Speaker, Your Honor.
Yes, Madam Speaker, because a mere joint memorandum circular isn't enough para may batas tayo, bagong pasa yung batas, mas latest yun, yung batas. So we have to follow that. That's why we have to put it in the special provision. I know that's what the problem is. Walang employee-employer relationship, si job order at saka si contract of service. But we should have thought of that before we passed the law. But we passed the law and signed by the President. So we have to honor the law.
That is correct. I tend to agree with you. So, definitely, hindi tayo papayag na a joint circular will trump the law. So, paglalaban po natin yan, Madam Speaker.
I will submit a proposal for a special provision so that all agencies, national government agencies, recognizes this. Even the DOJ during the IRR acknowledges, kasama sa batas siya eh. So dapat i-implement po natin para sa mga solo parents sa job order and contract of service.
Sige po, Madam Speaker. Sorry. Could you kindly repeat?
Yes. No, I will submit a special provision para to correct lang at magkaroon ng mandate yung mga departments to actually allow the solo parents na job order and contract of service. Pinasa natin yung batas eh, so we have to honor it. Do I have to read the special provision, Madam Speaker?
Yes,
if I may.
And to put it on record, Madam Speaker.
Granting parental leave benefits to solo parents working in the government under job order or contract of service pursuant to Section 7 of Republic Act Number 8972 as amended by Republic Act Number 11861, otherwise known as the Expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act. A forfeitable and non-cumulative parental leave of not more than 7 working days with pay every year shall be granted to any solo parent employee regardless of employment status who has rendered service or at least 6 months. This shall apply to those who are working in the public sector under job order or contract of service. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker. Next question. So overall savings, I just noticed na after 2015, hindi na nagkaroon ng reporting. Then bumalik siya noong 2020 and 2021. Then afterwards, no more reporting again as to the overall savings of each department.
Madam Speaker, may we ask for a 1-minute suspension?
Session suspended.
So it doesn't make sense. Madam Speaker.
Session resumed. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, Your Honor, as you know, the meaning of savings is now different. Today, it now refers to balances of any released appropriations which have not been obligated as a result of any of the following: A, completion, final discontinuance, abandonment of a program, or B, implementation of measures resulting in improved systems and efficiencies, etc. So today, in other words, hindi na siya kinocompute for all. Yun na ngayon ang practice ng DBM. So if there is a number that you have in mind, for example, do you wish to know unutilized appropriations for the entire government? Is that what you wish to know?
Madam Speaker, parang di naman po nagbabago yung definition ng overall savings. Yung savings naman talaga is, as you said, yun ang definition ng savings natin. At kaya nire-reflect yun kasi ito yung mga hindi nagagamit, like you said. And then nire-report kasi yun and it's being transferred to other agencies. Ang sa akin, I'm looking for a repertorial. They have to report it to us, just like before. For example, ang overall savings natin in 2020 is 3.5 billion. That's why it's also significant And then for all those savings, nakalagay dyan kung saan tinransfer sa bawat agency. Pag sinabi mo kasing savings, transfers from each agency, nata-transfer ang savings ng bawat isang ahensya, pupunta ngayon sa overall savings. And then yung overall savings, it's a transfer to.
Madam Speaker, it can be provided, but they don't have the figures now.
Madam Speaker, yun po yung point ko. Bakit nawawala yung report ng overall savings? Dapat nakikita po natin yon dito sa Kongreso kasi savings po yan na hindi na po alam ng Kongreso kung saan napupunta. And it's part of our obligation to know where these savings are. Saan nanggaling? Kasi that's where we see how efficient ang ating mga departments. So baka pwede pong isubmit sa atin today para makita po natin.
Ang pagkakaiba, Madam Speaker, today is that the agencies themselves use their own savings. So they can modify on their own. So hindi katulad dati na nililipat sa ibang ahensya.
And does this mean hindi siya nire-report sa...
No, pero yes. So, but as a result of that change in practice, kaya nagkaroon din sila ng ibang pagre-report. But tama po yung observation ninyo. And I think that is a very important point. Hindi naman dahil nag-iba ng practice ay nawala na sila ng responsibilidad na mag-report. So, because of that, they will submit the report on savings. They will provide the report as... Okay, but henceforth, they will include you will include it in the BSF moving forward. But you will submit within the week to the Committee on Appropriations and we will copy furnish all members.
Yes, please, Madam Speaker, kasi napaka-importante po na alam natin how efficiently they're using. Napakadaling mag-declare ng savings kung bibigyan natin ng blanket authority ang departments to use the savings and use it whenever they want or augment something without passing through Congress. E di, i-bloat na lang palagi yung bidding, yung ABC. Tapos magdadive. You know, this is not acceptable, should not be acceptable to us. That's why we need those reports. Kaya sana po within the week or sana nga within the day or hanggang tomorrow para naman po mapag-aralan, Madam Speaker. Anyway, my next question refers to, dito na ako sa, alam naman ni Madam Sponsor ito, yung tungkol sa earmarked revenues. Madam Speaker, sa pagkakaintindi, can you define earmarked revenues through you, Madam Speaker?
Earmarked revenues, Madam Speaker, are identified revenues required by law to be used for designated activities, benefits, or purposes which can be either classified as use of income or special account in the general fund or SAGF.
Nung pong nag-interpolate tayo, sinabi po sa akin that the cash isn't available because the cash is being used. Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, tama po ba na pwedeng gamitin ang earmarked revenues ng national government wherever it pleases?
Yun ang practice po ng natin. But let me explain.
Madam Speaker, yung tanong ko po, hindi kung practice siya or hindi. Tama po ba na ginagamit natin ang earmarked revenues for other things other than specified in the law?
Madam Speaker, if I may be allowed,
Yes.
parang po siyang, if I may use a comparison. Parang kung tayo po ay nagde-deposito sa isang bangko, nagdeposito tayo ng 100 piso, iniwan natin sa bangko yung ating 100 pesos. Habang hindi natin kailangan yung 100 pesos na yan, ini-invest ng bangko yung 100 pesos na yan. But at any point in time that we demand 100 pesos plus the interest, dapat ibibigay sa atin ng bangko yung pera natin. At any point in time that we want it, it must be available. So ganun po ang konsepto ng earmarked revenues. Congress earmarks a certain portion, kinokolekta ng ahensya ang revenue, dinedeposito sa treasurer, habang hindi ginagamit ang cash, gagamitin muna ang cash sa pagpapatakbo ng buong government kasi po ang pangongolekta ng buwis hindi naman po January 1. Meron na tayong buwis. Paano natin babayaran ang sweldo ng ating mga page, ang sweldo ng mga government employees? Wala po tayong ibabayad sa inyo na sweldo kung hindi natin gagamitin ang cash na yan. Pero at any point in time that an agency demands those earmarked revenues, the Treasury must be able to make those funds available. Ganyan po ang ibig sabihin ng earmarked revenues.
Madam Speaker, saan po nakasulat na gano'n ang ibig sabihin ng earmarked revenues na pwede siyang gamitin pag hindi ginagamit pa? Kasi malinaw naman po, earmarked accounts and funds are not, the legal basis of an earmarked revenue could be a law, a presidential decree, or international agreement. Bawat earmarked revenue may batas. At walang blanket authority doon na sinasabing pwede mo munang gamitin habang hindi ginagamit ng agency. Gusto ko lang po makahanap ng legal basis mula umpisa. Asan po ang legal basis na sinasabing pwedeng gamitin ang pondo na in-earmark natin for another thing kasi yung cash naman hindi pa ginagamit ng ahensya. So hiramin ko muna. Paano kung hindi ko na maibalik? Paano kung hindi na tayo makautang? Hindi po ba pag regular ka na tao, ginamit mo ang pera na hindi para doon? Qualified theft na to, o kaya pwedeng technical malversation of funds if you use it for another thing.
Ang tawag ko dun sa libro ay Book of Accounts. So may Book of Accounts at nandun naman po maliwanag ang balanse. So at any point in time na kung na-question...
Madam Speaker, ulitin ko, ano pong batas ang nagsasabi na pwedeng gamitin pangsamantala ang earmarked revenue?
So, hindi po ginagamit ang revenue. Maliwanag po yun.
Yung pera, Madam Speaker. Saan po sinasabing batas na yung cash na nakolekta ng isang collecting agency para sa isang bagay na naka-earmark? Kaya po tayo nagpasa ng batas sa Kongreso. Gusto ko itong SUF para lamang sa free wifi. O meron na siyang 24 billion na cash na nakadeposito. Pero sabi nga, yung cash na to nawawala na kasi ginagamit siya habang hindi pa ginagamit ng free wifi. Hindi ko po talaga masettle sa utak ko kung paano pwedeng, kung ano, yun lang naman tinatanong ko, ano po bang batas ang nagsasabi? Yung cash na para sa free wifi, pwede munang hiramin ng national government para gastusin sa ibang bagay nang hindi nagpapaalam sa tamang or walang proper documentation.
Madam Speaker, una sa lahat, napag-usapan na natin ito at maliwanag naman na at any point in time na kailangan na ng DICT ng additional funds para sa free wifi, they may request.
Madam Speaker,
maliwanag po yun at katulad din doon
Madam
sa
Speaker,
fire trucks. So lahat po yun ay pwede. So yun ang sistema po ng paggamit ng accounts sa special accounts in the general fund. Ganun po ang sistema. Pero kung meron pong legal question ng ating kagalang-galang na BH Herrera. Nandito naman po ang DOJ, Judiciary. Pwede po siyang magtanong ng legal opinion, ng opinion mula sa DOJ because that is really beyond us. Hindi po ako hindi po kami makakapagbigay ng isang legal opinion. Yun ay pwedeng hingin sa DOJ, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker,
Your Honor.
we are the power of the purse here. Tayo po ang nagpasa ng batas. Yung pera na in-earmark natin, mahirap po na ginagamit, tapos pag kailangan na, sasabihin mo, pag kailangan na, nandyan. Paano kung wala? Hindi ba ganun yung mga estafa cases? Hindi ba ganun yung mga pyramiding scams? Na pagka umutang ka ng pera, for such a, di ba, tapos biglang pag kailangan na, hindi mo na makuha. Pwede mo i-demanda yung taong yun. Ang sinasabi mo kasi, at any given time, ang defense mo is at any given time, pwedeng hingin ng free wifi yung budget. Eh paano kung walang pera ang gobyerno? Sa akin, hindi yung it's readily available. That's not the point. Ang punto dito, pwede bang gamitin para sa ibang bagay ang cash na inalat ng Kongreso para sa isang particular na bagay? Hindi po excuse yung sasabihin natin, available naman pag gusto ng ahensya eh. Anong difference ito dun sa DAP?
Well, ang tawag po dito, Madam Speaker, ang tawag po dito ay cash management by the national government, and this is under Executive Order number 449. Yan po ang mandato ng ating National Treasury. So, kung meron pong legal question na gustong pang talakayin ang ating kagalang-galang na BH Herrera, ay pwede naman niyang itanong sa Supreme Court kung gusto niyang talakayin pa ito. But as far as we are concerned, at any point in time na hihingin ng ahensya ang earmarked revenues na yan, dahil maliwanag po, mas maliwanag pa sa alas 8 ng umaga ang balanse nila, ay demandable po yan.
Madam Speaker, hingi nga po maliwanag sa tirik ng araw yung balanse. Alam mo yun. Hindi maliwanag kung magkano ang balanse ng mga earmarked revenues dahil natatraffic sa Bureau of Treasury. You and I both know that natatraffic ang kanilang balanse sa Bureau of Treasury because nagagamit ang pera tapos naghihintay ngayon ng balancing or reconciliation. Madam Speaker, this is not a legal question. It is also a management of cash question dahil at the end of the day, nangungutang nga tayo dahil kulang yung pera natin eh. So paano kung biglang may magandang programa ang isang departamento? Can we assure them that there's cash? So bigla tayong we earmark this certain, in-earmark natin ito sa bawat use niya. Kasi gusto nating i-make sure that the money is there at lagi siyang pwedeng gamitin. Tandaan natin, if yung humihiram ng pera ang may control kung anong ibibigay niya, then magdadamot ako ngayon sa pagbibigay kasi ginagamit ko eh. So they have the control eh. If you have the control, diba? Kunwari ikaw ang may control ng pera, kung ano ang pwede mong gamitin at hindi. Tapos may humihinging ahensya sa'yo. Kung ginagamit mo yung pera, hindi ka magiging generous sa ahensya ibigay kahit mayroon silang tamang programa. Kasi you're making use of the cash available.
Maganda lahat yan, Madam Speaker. But again, ang end balance halimbawa as of June 30, 728.785 billion pesos. So malaking amount of funds. Isipin na lang po natin kung lahat po ito ay binagsak natin ngayon, lahat sa mga ahensya, sa totoo lang po, mabibilaukan silang lahat. Hindi nila kayang ma-absorb lahat ito. So may ganun din na problema. So that is actually part of the mandate of our National Treasury, part of the mandate of the DBM. Kailangan nilang i-manage yan. So they cannot just flood all of these agencies with cash. So, yun po, that's how we understand the cash management mandate of these agencies, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, cash management does not mean gagastusin mo yung pera pag hindi ginagamit. There's a difference, Madam Speaker. I never said na i-flood natin ng agencies. I'm just simply saying you cannot use the money that's particularly earmarked for a certain project na sinaad natin sa batas.
Pero again,
I did not say na i-flood natin sila. But I'm saying, tama po ba na ginagamit natin yung pera na sinet aside ng isang batas na hindi pwedeng gamitin? Malinaw po ang batas. Bawat section, andito po yan, makapal po yan eh. Ilan ang earmarked revenues natin? Nakaspecify doon, nandun lang siya pwedeng gamitin.
so
Very
again,
specific. Alam ko po yung sinasabi niyong one fund concept. Do you know the history of one fund concept when it started, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor?
what is the question?
Yung one fund concept, because yan po yung sanina sinasabi nyo na ito yung cash management, may one fund concept, na yun ang sinasabi ng DOF na dun ginagamit. Kaya balikan natin yung history ng one fund concept. Ano ba ang pinanggalingan ng one fund concept, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor?
Well, please enlighten the body, Madam Speaker.
Galing po yun sa Presidential Decree 17, Presidential Decree pa yon during the time of President Marcos, na lahat ng dormant accounts, yung mga off-budget accounts, yung mga lying around funds, yun ang pinagsama-sama. Wala po dong nakasulat any mention of earmarked revenues. At since 1977 pa po yung Presidential Decree na yun. Hindi pa po na-amend or napalitan ng panibago. Ang sa akin naman, gusto ko lang ilagay sa tama. Pwede naman nating lagyan sa special provision kung talagang gustong gamitin itong pondo na to. Pero ang tanong ko, hindi ba dapat natin malaman sa Kongreso kung saan, kailan hiniram yung 700 billion? Kunwari may 700 billion, anong portion ng 700 billion ang hiniram? Hiniram para sa anong bagay? Tama ba na walang report sa atin na hiniram yung perang to? Tama ba na hindi nag-report sa agency? Kunwari, ako si DICT. Ang alam ko, meron akong 24 billion. Tama ba na hindi magpapaalam sa kanila? Pwede bang hiramin namin ang cash na ito para magamit namin sa ibang bagay?
So, Madam Speaker, again, babalik po ako dun sa aking analogy earlier. Ang bangko niyo po ba, tuwing ini-invest yung 100 piso na dineposito ninyo, ay tinatawagan ba kayo para
Madam Speaker, kung ako po ay hindi nag-authorize, pwede ko pong sabihin sa bangko, huwag niyong galawin itong certain portion na to. Because tandaan niyo, hindi mo pwedeng i-relate sa bangko to. Batas ito. May blanket kang pinirmahan sa bangko. Nung nagdeposito ka, alam mo na pwede niyong gamitin para invest. That's part of the contract you paid for when you opened the account. Pero ito, batas ito na pinasa natin na earmark ang certain fund for a certain thing. Wala tayong authority na binigay doon sa ating batas o habang may cash, habang hindi ginagamit, pwede niyong gamitin, national government, kung saan niyo gusto. Pag kinapos tayo, gamitin niyo na. O basta siguraduhin niyo, pagkakailangan ko na, ibalik niyo sa akin.
But again, Madam Speaker, what is important is the balance. Paglilinaw lang po kung ano ang balanse ng bawat fund ay intact po yan. Napakahuhusay po ng ating mga empleyado sa ating treasury. Complete po yan. So lahat po ng mga dinadagdag po dyan, lahat ng binabawas, intact po ang balances. Issue lang po because we have a ceiling at every point in time. Today, ang hinaharap natin na ceiling is 6.352 trillion pesos. Can you imagine kung pinasok po natin itong 728 billion, mauubos yung 6.3 ng 728 billion ng in-earmark ng Kongreso. So paano po yung mga programa na gustong ipatupad ng ating national government? Yun ang mangyayari dito. How will our national government function kung lahat po ng ating earmarked revenues ay pinasok natin lahat doon sa ating total budget ceiling? So yun po ang napakahirap na trabaho ng ating DBM or DPCC. So yun ang naging ang ganda nga ng konsepto, di ba, ng cash management. So, that's what it is. So, in other words, when you deposit money sa bangko, yung the exact 100 pesos, serial number 0001, hindi naman yun yung the exact bill na isasoli sa'yo once you make a withdrawal. Diba? Ang usapan lang natin ay nagde-deposit ako ng 100, at any point in time, you are entitled to 100 pesos, any serial amount, any serial number, plus interest. Diba? Yun naman po ang binabantayan natin.
Madam
It's the
Speaker.
same concept that we are using for cash management under the National Treasury, Madam Speaker.
Madam
And to
Speaker,
remind
so with the
Honorable
same,
Herrera that you have 3 minutes more.
Madam Speaker, with the same concept, paano yung mga nagsarang bangko? Dahil ginamit nila yung pera eh. Nag-overuse sila ng pera ng diniposito ko eh. So nung nag-withdraw ko, hindi na mabalik sa akin. Dahil nagsarado yung bangko eh. Like I said, Madam Speaker, again, I believe in the one fund concept, pero mag-amenda tayo ng batas. Isaayos natin. Ano ba sinasabi ko dito ever since all budget hearings? Sayang ang mga pondo sa earmark revenues, sayang ang mga pondo sa off-budget, sayang ang mga dormant accounts. Ilagay natin sa one fund concept, I agree. Pero let's pass a law. Let's amend the PD. Let's amend the presidential decree or magpasa tayo ng batas dito sa Kongreso if we really want to allow that. Yun lang po yung aking palaging sinasabi kasi right now, and mag-report sila sa atin sa Kongreso kung saan nila ginamit at kailan na hiniram yung pera. Madam Speaker, hindi na natin alam saan napunta yung pera na ginamit na yon. Oo, nandyan. Pero nung hiniram nila, para kang nagsabi sa any empleyado, ito petty cash natin sa opisina. So, ibig sabihin, kung meron akong petty cash dito sa opisina, kung merong mga ilangan sandali, ay hiramin ko lang sandali, ibabalik ko naman eh. Pag nabuko mo yung empleyado mo, is it acceptable? Kung kunwari, nagbigay ka ng pera specific sa iyong staff, para dyan lang yan. Tapos hiniram ng staff mo, hiramin ko lang naman eh, ibabalik ko rin ha. Is that okay? Does it make it okay?
Madam Speaker, it is not the same situation. That is, I stand by my position that accounting-wise po, hindi naman ginagastos ang earmark revenue as long as hindi programmed. Intact po ang balances ng ating earmark revenues. Cash-wise, ay fungible naman po siya. So, yun po ang sistema ng cash management. Kung may problema po ang ating kagalang-galang na BH Herrera, again, of course, she's free to file a resolution, file an inquiry, file or solicit an opinion from the DOJ.
So, Madam Speaker, paano nga pag hindi na ibalik? Paano kung walang pera yung gobyerno? What happens now? Because ginamit natin for other things, pinambayad natin ng utang.
Is that your last question, the Honorable Herrera?
Well, I would like to put this on record dahil meron
One
pa
more
naman pong
minute.
second round. While the earmark revenues may be pooled to the general fund under the one concept, the fact that these are not readily available cash resources but an obligation suggests a shift from the one fund concept to misappropriation. The remittance of the earmark revenues recorded in special accounts has merely become a means to circumvent the purpose of earmarking, allowing physical possession and access to these earmark revenues, which under the Republic Act is, like you said, 700. So, Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, sa akin ilagay po natin sa tama. At mag-report po tayo. Marami po tayo. Pwede po natin lagyan ng special provision na i-report sa atin kailan nila hiniram ang pera. Because hindi ko po talaga matanggap na pwedeng gamitin po yung pera na in-earmark natin for a specific thing kahit ba hinihiram lang ito sandali. Like I said, hindi ba to parang DAP that was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court?
To the Honorable Stella, your final statement to the last queries of the Honorable Herrera.
Yes, Madam Speaker, thank you for sharing your thoughts on the matter. I have exhausted my opinion on this. As I said, there's the DOJ, perhaps, who can weigh in on this, and the rest of the members on the matter.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, basahin ko lang po itong Section 37 ng PD 1177. It states that even the presidential decree of the one fund concept does not even allow it. It says here, all monies appropriated for functions, activities, projects, and programs shall be available solely for specific purposes for which these are appropriated. Even the presidential decree na pinapapool lahat sa one fund concept, exception yung naka-appropriate for a specific thing. So, Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, I've exhausted my time. Meron pa namang ibang agencies, nandiyan pa yung DBM, DOJ. I'll just
And
continue.
magkaiba po ang appropriation, which is an authority to spend, versus cash. Magkaiba po yun. That's my final statement.